This is 26-year-old Jodi Arias. She brutally murdered Travis Alexander. I'm not going to explain the entire story to you because I'm pretty sure 80% of people that clicked on this particular video already know the story. But I'm just going to tell you guys kind of what happened. I'm not going to give you guys any background on who the people are, as you guys will figure out who they are in the interview. As 25-year-old Jodi Arias sits in this interrogation room, she knows exactly what she did. She brutally murdered her boyfriend, Travis Alexander, in cold blood too. And yes, I am chewing gum as it's happening. But you know what, bro? I really did. Travis was apparently a very loving dude and a very nice guy. But later on, she would end up saying that that he sexually abused her and raped her and hit her. All these stuff, which is clearly not true at all, but even if we were to take a word for that, why would you murder him? Simply tell the cops about this and it's kind of literally over right there. Anyways, what I'm trying to say, I guess, is that she cold-bloodedly knows exactly what she did, but she ends up lying about everything she says in this interrogation room for 2 hours and 30 minutes straight. Fucking evil. Travis died a very brutal way, there's no doubt behind that. So now I'm going to explain to you guys how Travis died. Travis Alexander died by the hands of his girlfriend, Jodi. Now, even though they were on and off at the time, you could definitely tell that they were planning to get together again, or maybe had the idea in the back of their head, but Jodi ended up stopping that when she brutally murdered him by shooting him one time in the head. Now, this is not a chronological order, but shooting him one time in the head, and then stabbing him 27 other times. Wow.
Anyway, so I got back. I looked at the MapQuest that I had MapQuest a bunch of places. I was maybe going to go to Death Valley. I was maybe going to go.
Did you actually cross over into Arizona? Is that how far you went?
I crossed over twice, I think. My map was wrong because the 93 goes north, and then I hit the 15 again, and then I got here, and then I hit Arizona, and then went here.
So if you guys do not know what's happening, Jodi Arias is basically consciously saying that she went to Arizona, even though she was not at or anywhere close to Arizona at this time. She was by her boyfriend's house, Travis Alexander, brutally murdering him. I'm not even lying too. And the sad part is she comes up with like 30 different stories to cover this up, and she says it like she means it. The detective also ends up saying that he has a problem with the trip that Jodi was going on, which completely makes sense because Jodi was making up a ton of lies. So it makes 100% sense that he would have a problem with it. And he kind of puts Jodi on the spot right there since Jodi did not expect that. She thought her story would match up to what she was saying, which clearly it sounded like she was just rambling at this point. But anyways, she ends up saying right after that, did I tell you I was stranded too? Which for some reason she says it so calmly, like being stranded means absolutely nothing to her, and she can get stranded again and she wouldn't give two fucking flying shits.
I have a problem with this trip.
Well, I went first too.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I know you went down here.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, Wairika, right there. Beautiful little place here, except it's kind of smoky. And I can't see the views. I was hoping to see some mountains, but
You really should see Mount Shasta if you get a chance.
okay. I've gone over this trip over and over in my mind and on paper. And even if there's still 20 some odd hours, even if you pulled over to sleep a couple of times.
Oh, did I tell you that I got stranded?
Yeah.
Okay.
You mentioned that. If you slept for 10 hours
I only slept for about
here
8
and
hours.
here, it would still leave. That still doesn't make any sense to me. And I can pull the maps and show them to you, and you can go over and over and over again. But I don't think you're being completely honest with me about that trip.
I honestly got lost. It's bad timing.
Were you at Travis's house on Wednesday?
Absolutely not. I was nowhere near Mesa. I was nowhere near Phoenix.
As you could tell, Jodi is in fact a big fucking liar. All she does this entire interview is lie, which is why it's super funny to watch this interview, because she's just lying, and everybody knows she's just straight up lying. Like, it's so... And there's this funny ass moment I'm about to show you guys where she cannot defend herself. She goes blank. She doesn't know anything she's about to say. And it's just funny, and it proves everything she said already wrong. Why would you even lie about Arizona? It's retarded. Like, come on.
What if I could show you proof you were there? Will that change your mind?
I wasn't there.
You can be honest with me, Jodi.
I was not at Travis's house. Was not.
You were at Travis's house. You guys had a sexual encounter, which there's pictures. And I know you know there's pictures, because I have them. I will show them to you. Okay? So, what I'm asking you is for you to be honest with me. I know you were there.
Are you sure those pictures aren't from another time?
Positive.
As you could tell, Jodi was caught lying numerous times in his entire interrogation. The detective, of course, being the patient detective that I just told you about, plays along with whatever the fuck she's trying to do, and obviously she's trying to deflect everything and manipulate the entire situation to her good will. So basically, she knows exactly what he is talking about, and you can tell by her face expressions that she is literally shitting herself right now, knowing that she's gonna have to spend, like, literally her entire life in prison, or get the death penalty, which unfortunately she did not end up getting, but she wanted it apparently, and she ended up testifying and taking a plea deal that she did it for her to not get the death penalty later. So maybe she was just saying that so she couldn't get the death penalty. I don't know.
The last time I had any kind of sexual contact with Travis was in April.
Remember I told you about the camera?
Mm-hmm.
That camera was damaged. Someone put it in a washing machine, ran it through a wash cycle with some clothes of Travis's, but the card's intact. Remember I told you that card was destroyed? I didn't want to tell you the truth, because I wanted to make sure those photos were accurate. And we can pull deleted photos. I don't care if you delete them 6 months ago. We can pull every photo that was ever on there. Pull the little pixels together. Get the timestamps on them. Not all of them, but most of them have timestamps on them, and we can verify those timestamps.
Mm-hmm.
And I have pictures of you in Travis's bedroom with Travis, pictures of him, and it's obvious you guys are having sex. Taking photos of each other, and they're dated and time-stamped on the day he died.
Are you sure it's me? I mean, that because I was
Jodi,
not there.
It's you. And you know it's you. I know all the details of this case. The only thing I don't know is why.
Now, everybody already knew at this point that she was guilty, including the detective. Everybody knew that she was guilty. Nobody thought for a second that she was innocent. Her face expressions proved that she was completely guilty. I mean, you don't completely just not blink once, even though they're talking about the slaughter of your boyfriend. That's just something that you do not do. And I do realize that they were broken up at this point, but you still should at least show some remorse. She didn't act like she cared at all. And even later on, or actually before this, she ends up saying that she was stranded, and she doesn't care about being stranded. She literally says it like it's nothing. I was stranded. I feared for my life for about 48 hours because I was stranded, and now I don't give a shit. Basically, it's kind of the same way for her boyfriend. She murdered her boyfriend, and she doesn't give a shit because she thinks she did it for a reason. And again, later on in the court, when they go talk to the grand jury, basically she ends up saying that she murdered her boyfriend in self-defense. When you say something so much and then you start to believe it, That's kind of how it's like for her. She made a perfect story for herself that made a little bit of sense but made no sense, especially towards the end where she ends up saying something so stupid that you guys are going to see. And it honestly debunks everything, and even the defense team ends up going against her. It's just embarrassing. It's just, yeah.
Why did you choose to go visit Travis that day? And why did you do what you did?
I never
Why,
hurt
Jodi?
Travis.
You did. You hurt him. That's why we're here. That's why I flew up here. Because I needed to talk to you about this. I can just arrest you and throw you in jail, but I want to know why. Why did you do this to him?
I wouldn't hurt Travis. He's done so much for me.
Again, these are one of the things that make absolutely no sense out of Jodi's mouth. She ends up saying that, oh, Travis is this wonderful guy. All he does is ever help me, He helps me all the time. But, at the same time, he's a pedophile, a rapist, and sexually abuses me every single time and calls me names every single time. But he does a lot for me. There's no doubt behind that. Jesus fuck. I swear to God, her stories never made any sense, and the fact of the matter is that she finds an actually intelligent way to cover it all up, but she ruins it with a horrible fucking story. Horrible.
Can I see the pictures?
We have your blood at the scene. Your hair with blood at the scene. Your left palm print at the scene. In blood. What's going on there?
Well, I can explain the blood and the hair. I don't know about my left palm print.
How can you explain the blood in that?
Well, because I used to bathe Napoleon all the time. And,
You haven't been there since April, right?
mm-hmm. Well,
He's had the house cleaned several times since then. And this hair was not just a hair, from the shower or something. This hair was stuck with blood and obviously had blood on it. At the time it got stuck where it ended up.
my
there's
hair would
no
have been
way.
all over.
There's no other hair.
Can you
in that
take
place.
a hair sample? And
We
like,
have your DNA.
no, but I mean, like, you know how they can do drug tests and find out when things were done?
No,
Can you,
we can't do that.
can't you measure the time?
We
maybe?
have DNA matching that hair to you.
Okay, I know, but my
And that hair had a follicle on it, and that means that hair wasn't there very long. The follicle will usually dissipate and go away after a certain time. It'll fall off, the hair itself.
well, when I would
Okay.
brush my hair
Jodi.
there.
Okay, so now she's trying to disprove something that makes absolute sense, and she does not know what she's saying. She doesn't even know what a follicle means, nor does anything she say make any sense whatsoever. She's saying that a big ass piece of hair with blood on it, obviously I know it's big because they saw it and somehow they noticed it in the pool of blood. So, basically, that means somebody's hair was probably ripped off, or maybe, I don't know, really, maybe her hair just came off and it fell into a pool of blood, or maybe her hair ripped off a piece of her scalp or something like that, and that's kind of what happened. All I could kind of say on this is kind of like, that what she's trying to do right now, she's trying to disprove what the detective is saying, which is just stupid because I think he's been doing his job long enough to know exactly what the evidence is, especially since he worked on it or it was handed to him and he obviously knows everything behind it. She does this all the time though. She likes to contemplate on something that makes absolutely no sense and deflect everything that gets thrown at her because she just feels like it and she does not have any remorse whatsoever.
Okay, let's say for a second that I did. And I say, I did it. I mean,
The motive is there. The jealousy issue.
but I wouldn't even say it was jealous. I mean, there may have been some jealousy there, but
Then what
I
is
think
it?
if
What
anyone-
caused this?
I think if anyone, maybe Travis was jealous, but
That's not what everybody else says. Well, they know he was jealous, but they think that you are absolutely obsessed. Obsessed is the word that they use. That's the word I hear from everybody. Fatal attraction. I don't know how many times I've heard that. Look at Jodi. Jodi had to have done this, or she got someone to do it for him. There's not one person that says anything else. Why is that? That's the perception they have of you.
Here's what we know she's trying to debunk. First thing first is she's trying to say that she wasn't even at the house, which is extremely illogical and proves that she, if she did not murder him, has a lot to do with the murder of him. That's just how it happened. Now, again, one thing the detective ends up saying in here is that maybe she called a hitman on him, and maybe she put a bounty on him so he could be killed for a certain price, and then that was kind of it. That's how he died. But of course, that's not what happened, because I think a hitman would be a lot more clean with what the fuck they're doing. Literally, there was 27 stabs on Travis's body by the time he was covered, and there was pieces of female hair on the fucking ground in the pool of blood. Not to mention there was a clean headshot through his skull. I don't know what else to say but to say that is extremely messy hitman you have right there. Extremely messy. I swear to you guys, she tried to clean it up apparently, but she failed miserably. She didn't even manage to move her hair from the place that was literally a pool of blood. So at the end of the day, she murdered Travis Lee brutally. I wouldn't even call it murder. I would call it literally slaughter. It's just completely sad that she wants to cover up everything still, even though she knows she's in the wrong. I don't know how the hell she could just sit there and stare at the detective for more than 4 hours and be gradually happy for everything she's saying and have a smile on their fucking face. I mean, it's just what? Jesus.